Alright, Alec Baldwin, legal review. Go.
You haven't said much in public since that tragic accident. Why speak out now?
Because it'll be good for me.
Well, I think that there's a criminal investigation, a number of misconceptions, most of it from sources I really wouldn't concern myself about.
Oh, really now? You seem pretty concerned. Here you are. I mean, a little concerned, I think, anyway.
The reason I wanted to sit down with you is because I really feel like I can't wait for that process to end in February.
Yeah, he really feels like he needs to color the investigation now while he still can.
How could this have happened?
How did it happen?
There's two things I want to say about that. When I talk about this, my concern is that I don't sound like I'm the victim.
Wait, what? You aren't the victim, though. I don't sound like the victim here. You aren't! I mean, in a sense, he is a victim. A victim of stupidity.
There's a woman who died.
Yeah, who died?
And my friend got
Who died? Was not shot by me, but she just died.
I want to make sure that I don't come across like I'm the victim, because we have two victims here.
Bro, don't worry. No one's gonna mistake you for the victim.
What was it that drew you to this project in the first place, to Rust?
What drew you to this project? I mean, he produced the project. Alec Baldwin produced this project. And if not for Alec Baldwin, the project wouldn't exist. He created this whole production team. He's running the company of Rust. He runs it.
I am a purely creative producer. My authorities as a producer are casting and script, which are actually married to the role of being a lead actor in a film.
Right, of course. My role in this, mostly creative. So it also has to do with me being the lead actor in this film as well.
I don't hire anybody in the crew.
Not even the cinematographer, no one?
No, but he will apprise me of what
Oh, yeah. You didn't hire a cinematographer? Whoa, we don't talk about that.
doing. And they'll say to me, I got Helena Hutchins to be the DP. I said, how do you feel about that? Are you excited? I'm very excited. She's wonderful.
What did you know about Helena Hutchins before she started working on this?
I knew nothing about her until Joel said to me, I got her. She was someone who was loved by everyone who worked with and liked by everyone who worked with and admired.
Oh, here we go. Are we gonna see a tear, though? That's the question. Is there gonna be an actual tear here? We're gonna pause it. Look at that. Dry as a bone. As far as I can tell. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see anything there.
The following week on the 11th, that night of the 11th, I had dinner with Helena and Joel.
Matt?
Both the people he ended up shooting. That's very odd.
She would say, good morning, how are you? How was your evening? Boom. It was.
That's a great pun by Alec there.
I was
I mean, look at her. She's oozes safety. I mean, come on.
really nervous about it at first, and I almost didn't take the job because I wasn't sure if I was ready, but doing it.
Don't worry, you weren't.
Hannah would hand me the gun 99% of the time.
Right, okay, so he basically just blamed Hannah for everything. Whenever the gun was handed to me, it was by Hannah. That's what he said there.
Time I heard that there was any problem with anybody in the crew of the film was when Luber said, well, we have some issues here.
Camera assistant would email production managers a resignation letter later that night, citing safety concerns. So far, there have been 2 accidental weapons discharges.
So apparently Alec Baldwin didn't know about this, but these guns have been going off accidentally for days now at this point.
Also wrote about concerns about reasonable rest and housing for local crew with long commutes to the set.
Oh, you expect me, Alec Baldwin, to provide hotels for you that are reasonably close to the shooting location? What is this shit? I mean, come on, you might as well just leave right now.
No mention of safety issues.
He didn't say anything about the accidental discharges on set?
He didn't say anything about anything other. He goes,
Except for the letter he wrote to you. What, did he not see that letter?
Rust producers told ABC News Mr. Looper's allegations around budget and safety are patently false.
Yes, patently false. There was never any evidence that this was dangerous. Never any evidence. Not one bit of evidence. At all. Oh, famous last words. On that. Safety is always number one on our films. Yes, of course.
everybody who makes movies has a responsibility not to be reckless and careless with the money that you're given.
Right, you know, I don't want to be too reckless with my money, so therefore I hired a team that wasn't up to the job and they killed somebody.
That morning, Looper and 6 other crew members walked off the set.
People walking off the set still. He doesn't notice this, of course. He didn't notice any of this, you know. It's just what you do. You're Alec Baldwin. You don't notice shit, apparently. You don't even notice that you're holding a loaded gun.
Toward her, it swivels, and she says to me, hold the gun lower. Go to your right. Okay, right there. All right, do that. Now show it a little bit lower. And she's getting me to position the gun. Everything is in her direction.
Oh my god, okay. He blames the dead person. That's where I thought this was going. This is where he's going with this. He's like, she told me to shoot her. That's where this is gonna end up. I guarantee it.
directly into the camera lens. You're not aiming.
I'm not
for it.
shooting into the camera lens. I'm shooting just off.
Just off.
Right, in her direction.
Into her.
The gun where she told me to hold it, which ended up being aimed right in below her armpit, was what I was told. I don't know. This was
What do you mean it was what you were told? She told you to do it or she didn't tell you to do it?
a little bit like that, and I cocked the gun. I go, can you see that? Can you see?
He cocked the gun, right? So, okay, you cocked the gun.
I let go of the hammer of the gun goes off.
At the moment.
Because you were already holding the trigger down. That's the only way that could happen. His hand was already on the trigger. So when you let the hammer go, it goes off immediately because you already pulled the trigger.
The moment the gun went off, yeah. That was the moment the gun went off.
It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Wasn't in the script. What do you do now, Alec?
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never.
He denies ever pulling the trigger. Of course he does. Of course he does. Yeah, the gun just went off on its own.
I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them. Never. Never. That.
Yeah, except for that one time you did. You know, a few weeks ago. I mean, he's suggesting the gun fired itself.
I was told I was handed an empty gun. If there were.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't check that shit, obviously. Here's the thing, though. They have to have the gun, right? We need to test this. We need to test if you can fire the gun without having your finger on the trigger and then cocking it back with the hammer. You know, pull the hammer back and then let it go. If it fires, then Alec actually has an argument here. If it doesn't, Alec should go to prison immediately.